I'm a street child. I'm a runaway little girl at 15 years old out of Kentucky named Kathleen Maddox. My husband's name was Scott. And he married somebody else and went down the road, and she went to Cincinnati and had a guy named Charles Manson. I was born 11/11/34, Veterans Day, and my granddaddy was the conductor on the B&O Railroad out of Kentucky. My mother went to prison for 5 years for strong-arm robbery. Her brother had to deal a trick in off the street and put the yoke on him to get some money to eat. And she went to prison, and I used to visit her in the prison visiting room. The only thing my mother taught me was that everything she said was a lie. And I learned never to believe anyone about anything. My mother got out of jail. My mother got out of the joint and put me in with the monks, in with the Catholic monks, the brother monks, there in Terre Haute, Indiana. They treated me like they treat all the other kids. But I seen them as a bunch of old women. So I ran off from there. I escaped out of the hood. Got out of that hood and went to Chicago. Got in the juvenile hall. Cook County Jail, Chicago, Indianapolis, D.C., Virginia. I did a lot of time in Virginia, all over the country. I've been in and out of jails. Out of the Kentucky mountains, when my uncle said, "We ain't surrendered. We're still rebels, and we'll be rebels until the end of time, because I ain't accepting no Yankee school."
My Uncle Jess told me, "Don't go to them schools, boy. Keep your own mind." He said, the mountains here are dying. You got to go down there and get it. I'm just one little kid. He said, "Well, it's just one little world. Get on about it. Do it."
He said, "Don't go to those schools, boy." So when I was 9 years old, I set the school on fire, and I went to reform school. In 43, and I've been fighting ever since. I have been raised up in a different world than you've been raised up. I've been raised up in the penitentiary. There's no weakness in the penitentiary. There's no sorrow or remorse in the penitentiary. I'm only as violent as I have to be. If I don't have to be violent, I'm not. But I was raised up to where if you didn't fight, you got fucked. If you didn't fight, you got taken away and your stuff was taken away. I'm as whatever I have to be to survive. Survival takes precedent over programming.
Survival is the center in the vortex of justice. Laws and rules, regulations are made to serve man, to serve survival. Years ago in prison, man, prison was only to give a man a chance to start all over. It was Christian justice to give a man a chance to be reborn. And the Salvation Army and all them good people would always give us Christmas packages and give us a chance to get back and give us a chance to help come back to society and do right. But they've lost sight of right. They don't even come and they don't even help nobody. They just lock everybody up and wait for them to come out and burn them up again, man. They don't even know what the hell they got a penitentiary for, or why a penitentiary's for. They think a penitentiary's to lock people up, and then they say, no, a penitentiary's to punish someone, and then they're not sure, and then they're splitting their attitudes, and they all put on suits and get in circles and put on faces and lie to each other.
We're all locked the Second World War, and I can't get free until we unlock the Second World War.
I'm standing here in 1944. They said the war's over, but I don't believe it. No one told me it was over. No one that was in the truth told me it was over. All them liars went down the road and said it was over, but no one that I knew that was telling me the truth said it was over. So I guess it's not over as far as I'm concerned. I wrote Hess a letter right before he died, and he never answered me the letter, but he sent me a word. And the word he sent me, he gave me a name. He said I was Abaraxis. He sent me that. He said that was who I was. He gave me that name.
I've been in jail since 1943. I live in jail. Like a lot of kids. They get busted when they're 8 and 10 years old because they don't have no parents. The jails are full of them. Are they full of them? They're full of kids that don't have no place else. That's daddy right there. I didn't have no parents. Well, you don't have any parents, you got nobody, there's no place else to take you off the street and throw you somewhere. I've been in here since I was 9 years old because I didn't have any parents. There's a line that the judge sets on. There's a premise of crime. that the Supreme Court sets on, that the government and the crosses set on. I have been behind the judge since 1943 in the infinite consciousness of those black robes. 1944, I went into a judge that was the same judge that was in Nuremberg, that was hanging Waffen soldiers over there in the war. I stayed in the judge's robes under Dr. Hartman. I'm like his little boy. He raised me all my life. Everything I know, I got inside. I don't have any parents. I don't have mothers and fathers and family unit like you guys do, you dig? I live in prison. I was raised inside the judge's body. I'm in the judge's robe. I've been on record, all my life's been on record, and I'm not violent. I learned that whatever you put out, you get back. And I don't like to be hurt, so I'm not going to hurt anyone. 1944, I went to juvenile hall. I didn't get out till 1954. I got a little girl named Rose, stole some guns, went to Georgia, burglarized a store, got a straw hat full of dimes, and came to L.A. I turned 21 years old in the L.A. County Jail. I wasn't out but a hot second. I've been in jail all my life. See, I never realized that people outside are much different than the people inside. People inside, if you lie, you get punched. You get misused. You don't lie to the lieutenant. Lieutenant don't lie to you. There's a certain amount of truth in prison, and being raised in prison, I was raised pretty much in the light of that truth. Probably, if you notice, people that tell the truth generally act like they're kind of retarded. Mentally retarded people I can communicate with real good. And decent dumb people, man, we talk like crazy, you know? In other words, I'm all right with those. And kids, I'm okay with. But when you get grown up, then there's a lot of problems. I don't get along too good with grown-ups. And they get me in trouble. People get me in trouble because I don't have the mental capacity to adjust to the outside. And when I get out there, I'm like a little kid. I'm like a little baby in a lot of respects, you know. And when I got out, all your children would come to me because they never had anybody to tell them the truth.
All this stuff about Charles Manson, the guru, the person that people follow, is that true?
Sure. I get out of jail, and these kids come around me. Yeah. They say, "You're God. You have the voice of God." And I say, there's a whole penitentiary guys like me. You know, I'm nothing. I'm just a messenger. I'm a witness, that's all. I'm just a poop butt that dropped out of the penitentiary. And they seen something in me I didn't see in me. They seen a nice guy. And I'm not a nice guy. I agree. But they seen that. So I said, well, as long as they seen the nice guy, I'll reflect the nice guy. I'll be the nice guy to them. So I played as much nice guy as they could deal with. And I held the line of nice guy. And I looked out for everybody, and I gave them places to stay, and I kept all the other not-so-nice guys off of them. Because I like the kids, because I can identify with the kids, because they didn't have nobody like I didn't have nobody. Right. So I kind of identify with that balance, Jake. So they come by, and we sing songs, and we were all singing together, and they say, wow, man, you got a different kind of voice. Call it Jesus, call it Muhammad, call it Boogie Box, call it Nuclear Mind, call it Blow the World Up, call it Your Heart, call it whatever you want to call it. It's still music to me. It's there. It's the will of life. Your music is Barry Manilow and all them ooh pop pop, and they sing it to little girls for $1.25. I'm singing up where God rolls. I'm singing up in the top echelons of the music. It kind of reaches in there and breaks all the pattern in your brain. I admit I influenced everybody out there at that ranch. The reason that there was a lot of girls around that place is because I play music. And I play pretty good music. They say that I was a leader in a family of people, which is bull. That's bunk. I had a lot of friends because I play a lot of music. A lot of people like my music. And we were all friends. There was no such thing as follower, leader. There was no leaders or followers. There was just people, intellect, intelligence. There were people, intelligent life forms. And all the girls sang in the music group. And all the guys played in the music group. It had nothing to do with a cult. It was a music group. We played a lot of music. We wrote, we did a lot of things, but we lived today. We lived in the day and the now.
You had them thinking you were...